With just over a week to go to AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year, AEW All In Texas has reportedly passed 20,000 tickets distributed for Globe Life Field. Isla Dawn reportedly is expected to sign with AEW. Tony Khan says he would be open to AEW holding state-sponsored events in other countries if the deal is right. It looks like Jelly Roll could have a bigger role than expected in WWE. Some believe that Cory is too good not to be featured on WWE main roster television. AJ Styles reportedly has signed a one-year contract extension with WWE. It looks like Sting could be set to appear at next week's AEW All In Texas event. An update on the feud between MJF and Mystico across AEW and CMLL recently. And The Miz is expected to return to WWE television very soon. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we are less than 100 subscribers to go until 23,000 on that road to 25k in 2025. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Plus, whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming live streams we've got here on the channel. That includes next weekend, a very busy one indeed. We've got All In Texas, a watch-along and a post-show. Saturday night's main event, the very same. And also, we've got WWE Evolution. Now, let's begin with the latest news regarding AEW All In Texas and how many tickets so far, as of right now, have been distributed for All In Texas at Globe Life Field. Now, with just around 8 days to go until AEW All In Texas, AEW's biggest ever show in North America, their first ever stadium show in North America, if you're not counting Grand Slam edition of Dynamite at Arthur Ashe Stadium, All In Texas reportedly has passed the 20,000 tickets distributed milestone. According to WrestleTix, as of a count yesterday, 20,120 tickets have been distributed, with 3,000 tickets remaining. Of course, more sections could be opened up for the show. Now, as the card begins to grow larger, so does the number of tickets sold and money being made at the gate, with, of course, as I mentioned, less than 9 days, 8 days specifically, to go until the show. Over 20,000 tickets have been distributed. Approximately over $2.5 million has been generated at the gate, which is not only double what the 2023 Forbidden Door gate finished at, the largest US gate in AEW history, but is far and away the largest non-WWE gate in wrestling history. There's another record that AEW All In Texas is set to break, and that's the largest attendance for a non-WWE pay-per-view event in North American history. The record is currently held, as we spoke about previously on another video, by WCW's Slamboree event in 1999, where 20,516 people were in attendance. But due to the amount of free tickets that were given out for that show, 6,727 to be specific, All In Texas already holds the record for the most amount of tickets sold for a non-WWE pay-per-view on US soil. AEW's current attendance record was set at the first ever Grand Slam edition of AEW Dynamite in 2021, with the company announcing at the time a total of 20,177 people in attendance, but it looks like that figure will be surpassed on July 12th. Of course, if we get any more details on ticket numbers or attendance numbers for All In Texas, we'll let you know in a future video. Isla Dawn, the former WWE Women Tag Team Champion, could be on her way to All Elite Wrestling. In recent months, a number of former WWE stars have been making moves in new promotions. While Shotzi has now signed with Major League Wrestling, fellow former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion Indy Hartwell has come aboard to TNA Wrestling. Elsewhere, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Isla Dawn is reportedly on track to join AEW. According to WrestleVotes Radio, Dawn recently attended an All Elite Wrestling television taping with a company headed by Tony Khan said to be heavily interested in signing her. That interest will soon materialize into something official, as Dawn is reportedly expected to work AEW shows in the near future. Her exact role on AEW programming has yet to be seen. Amongst the existing AEW roster, Dawn has previous experience with Mercedes Martinez and current AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm. Martinez and Dawn opposed each other in a tag match at Shine in 2018. More extensively, Dawn and Storm shared the ring in WWE and a few independent promotions such as Revolution Championship Wrestling, Empress Pro, and Paid. Dawn last wrestled on the February 12 edition of WWE Speed in a losing effort to Shotzi. In 2 weeks, she will return to action at Northeast Wrestling's Wrestling Under the Stars event on July 19th. Dawn's departure from WWE came amongst a wave of releases in early February, with her tag team partner Alba Fire unaffected and now working as a member of Chelsea Green's Secret Service on WWE SmackDown. Together, Dawn and Fire enjoyed one reign as WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, this is an interesting story here regarding state-sponsored shows for All Elite Wrestling. Tony Khan, the AEW president and CEO, says he is open to the possibility of collaborating with countries to host state-sponsored AEW events in new locations, provided the deal is right for the brand. A significant part of WWE's current business involves hosting more events outside of the United States and partnering with local areas for major state-sponsored shows. In a recent interview with WFAA, AEW President Tony Khan was asked about WWE holding events in Saudi Arabia and other regions, as well as the potential for AEW to make similar deals for state-sponsored events with other countries. Tony Khan, the AEW CEO, made it very clear that it would depend on the circumstances and a suitable deal would be needed in place for it to benefit AEW. Quote, "Well, it depends on the situation. I think, it's all about the details. So it would have to be a deal that makes sense for that territory and especially for us here at AEW." Of course, AEW recently hosted its first event in Mexico, and Tony Khan has been quoted as saying it's a virtual certainty that they will return to the country one day. Now, Jelly Roll could be set for a bigger role in WWE. Tennessee musician Jelly Roll is scheduled for next week's WWE SmackDown in his home state. And according to a report from WrestleVotes, it's likely the beginning of a longer series of appearances. The Insider social media account stated that people within the company are expecting Jelly Roll to continue appearing for WWE in the near future. While he is on tour, it was noted that Jelly Roll is off the weekend of WWE SummerSlam in August. Jelly Roll has made several previous appearances on WWE programming since rising to prominence for his music several years ago. In November 2023, shortly after Randy Orton first returned following his back injury, Jelly Roll helped the veteran wrestler win his first Raw match in over a year. Then, at last year's SummerSlam, Jelly Roll was on hand again, this time for a music performance and an angle that saw him deliver a chokeslam to Austin Theory. While it is yet to be revealed what Jelly Roll is set to do on next week's SmackDown, the report's implication is that he'll be involved in a storyline leading up to the biggest event of the summer. This year will mark the first time that SummerSlam takes place across 2 nights, August 3rd and August 2nd, at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. 2 matches are official for the show as of the time of recording this video. Cody Rhodes will challenge John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship, and Jade Cargill will face whoever holds the WWE Women's Championship coming out of WWE Evolution next weekend. An update on Cory Graves and his main roster status. Pat McAfee first has not appeared on WWE Raw for over a month, with him taking time off from his role as color commentator on the shows streaming on Netflix. During his absence, Cory Graves has returned to Raw alongside Michael Cole, as well as still calling WWE NXT alongside Vic Joseph and Booker T. It was expected that McAfee would return to his spot on Raw instead of Graves when he was ready to return, but we may be seeing more Graves on the main roster after all. Per WrestleVote, several people within WWE have noted that there is strong contingency to get Cory Graves on main roster television weekly, regardless of who is or is not available. It was noted that while several understand the value that Pat McAfee brings to the company, many feel that Graves is, quote, too good, end quote, and, quote, way too passionate, end quote, to not feature weekly on main roster television. Graves was moved off Raw to NXT back in January upon Raw's move to Netflix, which saw McAfee return to commentary alongside Michael Cole. Now finally, we seemingly have a bit of an update when it comes to AJ Styles and his WWE future. In 2024, Fightful Select reported that AJ Styles' contract with WWE was coming due soon. Unfortunately, Styles sustained an injury that had him sidelined for the early part of the year until he returned. However, enough time passed that his contract would have likely been up by now. WWE had never announced an extension, and Styles is still actively featured on WWE TV. Fightful Select say they spoke to those familiar with the situation who claimed that those close to Styles said he had signed a 1-year extension with WWE. Now, Fightful say they did not get any clarity as to when the extension would have been signed or when it would expire. In previous interviews, AJ Styles had communicated his desire to retire as a WWE superstar. Styles did have conversations with AEW, specifically the Young Bucks, in early 2019, but the talks never got far enough to where they talked money. He signed a new contract with WWE that year, and at the time claimed it would be the last that he'd sign. Fightful say they did reach out to WWE in an official capacity, as well as AJ Styles, to try and gain confirmation on this story, but didn't get one. They say they'll update if that changes. Now, it's important to note that this emerged from those close to Styles as opposed to the company itself. Going back to AEW All In Texas next weekend, and could we see a Hall of Famer on the show? Recently, Fightful, of course, reported, we spoke about it yesterday in a news video, that Darby Allin is expected back on AEW television soon, but he may not be alone. Fightful Select say they have learned that Sting has long been discussed for a potential cameo or appearance at AEW All In. The internal suspicion is that it would be tied to if Darby Allin was on the show in some capacity and what he could be doing on the show. This isn't too much of a surprise though, as Sting lives in the Texas area and was a surprise at the AEW All In ticketing on sale event in December. Sting had noted that he expects to be at the event. He's also doing a signing and photo op at Starcast the week of All In. This is the last year Sting is doing meet and greets in full paint. He was recently interviewed by Denise Salcedo and had some interesting things to say about Darby Allin. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if we get any more confirmation on what he could be doing at the event if indeed he does appear. Now, what's going on with MJF and Mystico, their rivalry? Less than a month ago, AEW's MJF feuding with CMLL's Mystico seemed nothing more than a fantasy that most people probably weren't even that interested in. But ever since the two collided at AEW Grand Slam Mexico, in a match so heated that MJF was reportedly attacked after the show, fans have been clamoring for a follow-up. And MJF's surprise appearance in MLW last week to attack Mystico seemed to assure that at least one other match between the two was in the offering. That begs the question of where the next Mystico MJF match would take place, with AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door in London and the CMLL Anniversario in September appearing to be the most likely candidates. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer gave his opinion on the matter and seemed to come down on the side of MJF versus Mystico taking place on the Anniversario. Quote, I got the feeling that they, CMLL, may go with Mystico and MJF, Meltzer said. Obviously, the match is coming to CMLL at some point soon, and that's the biggest show of the year, so it makes sense for it to be on that show, end quote. Though it's still a few months away, CMLL has already begun announcing matches for the Anniversario show, including a hair match between Lucha Legends Felino and Rey Bucanero, which in theory would serve as a co-headliner alongside Mystico and MJF. Meltzer provided no information nor speculation on whether the Mystico MJF match would be mask versus hair, a stipulation many have favoured for their rematch given that MJF stole Mystico's mask following their match at Grand Slam. And finally, a bit of an update here on The Miz and his return to WWE television expected to happen soon. The Miz is expected to return to WWE programming in the near future. According to Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer, the two-time WWE champion should be back on TV soon due to finishing up filming of 2 seasons of American Gladiators. The Miz has not wrestled on WWE television since losing to Aleister Black on the May 2nd edition of Friday Night SmackDown, having taken time off to work on the reboot of American Gladiators, which is scheduled to air on Amazon Prime Video later this year. The new series was being filmed in Paris, France until July 1st and has a strong pro wrestling presence. Outside of The Miz as the host, the likes of Wardlow, Camille, Rick Boogs, Jesse Goddard and J-Rod are all part of the show as gladiators. WWE reportedly took issue with the involvement of All Elite Wrestling talents on American Gladiators. AEW, meanwhile, was said to have no issues with The Miz's involvement. The Miz has been a part of WWE for 21 years. He is a 2-time WWE champion, 8-time Intercontinental champion, 2-time United States champion, and 9-time WWE Tag Team champion. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as we spoke about earlier on. You can see right there, we are less than 100 subscribers to go until 23,000 on that road to 25k. Hopefully to get 25k in 2025. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can scan that QR code right there on the sidebar and join the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. And whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming live streams we've got here on the channel. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in, as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.